Good morning. It's 6:40. It is Wednesday. This is San Diego's Morning News. A representative-elect caught in a web of lies. Should he step down, step aside? We'll find out live. Real-time traffic every 10 minutes on the 10s. Here's Darren Edwards.
And thank you, Ted. This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm, northbound 15, right before the Riverside County line checkpoint there. I got a solo vehicle accident in the fast lane, and it looks like this vehicle crashed in the center divide wall, so we're getting reports that Caltrans is going to shut down the fast lane as they try to do repairs to that center divide wall. As far as the southbound 15 goes, looking pretty good heading out of Escondido into Mission Valley at 28 minutes from the 78 to the 8. Southbound 5 looking good, 32 minutes from the 76 down to the 8. Northbound 5 heavy now from the 54 in National City up to about the 15 split. Northbound 805 is going to be slow through Chula Vista. An earlier crash northbound 805 at Olympic Parkway is blocking the carpool lane. Give yourself great sleep during Mattress Firm's Dream December sale. Get a king for a queen price or a queen for a twin and save up to $700 at Mattress Firm. I'm Darren Edwards. Kogo's next real-time traffic update is coming up at 6:50.
All right, we could see a few showers this morning. Then we'll see partly sunny skies later this afternoon. High surf advisory for the coast until tomorrow afternoon. Could see some more showers Thursday night. Rain this weekend. Coast up to 64 today. Inland 63. The mountains 47. Deserts 75. Right now downtown, it looks like we are mostly cloudy. And 60 degrees. Kogo News time is 6:42. New York Representative-elect George Santos did, as promised, share some of his story on Monday in an interview with the New York Post, admitting that he did lie about portions of his background while running for Congress. Joining us on the Kogo News Live line, a commentator for Young Voices, Andrew Donaldson. Good morning, Andrew.
Morning. I was jealous of the weather report there, and then I heard the traffic report. But everything's a trade-off in life, isn't it?
Well, it is a trade-off. Just a couple of days ago, we were in the upper 70s, low 80s. So yeah,
you can stop now. That's fine. We got it. We get it. We get it. In San Diego.
We do like it here. Yeah. All right. So does this guy have a big problem with the truth?
That's an understatement. This would be like saying that San Diego has a warm weather problem. No, this is just almost comical. This is like an SNL skit, although I don't think they'd make it this ridiculous. It's pretty amazing. How does this sort of thing happen? You shake your head. Now, there was some local reporting that kind of dug into this, but on the national level, nobody really got a hold of this until just recently. It's pretty stark, especially when you start going through it. And it's like a lot of things, kind of like a little kid that got caught. He's accentuating the lesser stuff to hoping you don't notice the bigger stuff. He's now copped and admitted to the college stuff. He's admitted to the religious stuff where he claimed to be Jewish and those sorts of things. He's doing that to make sure you don't pay attention to the stuff that's actually going to really get him in trouble down the road, which is the money stuff. He's already, by his own admittance now, not been forthcoming on his financial disclosures that he's already had to file. This guy's going to be in a whole lot of trouble in a great big hurry, and he really needs to stop talking publicly because he's making it worse and worse and worse.
So, but with someone like him, isn't there a team behind him saying, do this, don't do this? I mean, or is he out there on his, I can't see where he would be out here all on his own, giving these, what many are saying are lies, of course, but does he have a team of people? Does he have press people? Does he have other people that can say, hey, look, you need to do this?
If you watched what he did on Fox last night, the answer ought to be no, or whoever those people are ought to never be allowed to work in media ever again, because that was a disaster. I don't know. I think what happens with these and what is clearly happening with George here is, we all know the backside of Mount Hubris. Once you climb to the top of it, it's a sheer cliff on the other side of it. We've seen it time and time again. These people get in these positions of power, and then they get caught, and then they just act like it's not going to happen to me, or I'm just going to fast talk my way out of it. And they make it worse, and they fall from grace really, really fast, and that's the stage this seems to be in. I don't know if he's listening to anyone or not. He should. Somebody that loves him ought to tell him it's time to cut bait and just walk away from this thing. Doesn't look like he's going to do that. Doesn't look like he's done digging just quite yet. Okay, so what do you predict is going to happen with him? Oh, Lord, I don't know. It's in a sane society, he would just resign. Yes, I got caught, slink away. He's clearly not going to do that. This is a tough one because he's a representative-elect. He's not seated yet. There's really no mechanism to keep him from being seated. So even if the GOP had an appetite to run him off, which remember, it's a very thin majority. You got things like the House speakership coming up, the election for that. Those margins are thin. I don't know they're going to have enough integrity to get rid of this guy. They would actually have to seat him and then have a 2/3 majority of the full Congress to kick him out. So they would have to let him in order to kick him out. I don't know that they would do either one of those things. You would think you could exert enough pressure on him that he would just resign and not do it, and it would go to a special election. But do you do that after he's seated or before or whatever the case may be? This is what you call, back where I come from in West Virginia, a big hot mess.
Well, it seems like it. Now you made a good point though. Now if he is seated, officially, can they just kind of ignore him or not give him anything to do?
Yeah, they've tried this a couple of times with a couple different people. You can not assign him to committees, which would greatly reduce his power. He would be a voting member, but that would be all he'd be allowed to do. We've seen that a couple of times recently. Again, what you ought to do is you ought to make him never get seated, but there's really no mechanism to do that unless he just gets an integrity bug or you get something big enough to make him not do it and resign on his own. So once you seat him, do you have a vote? Tight house with contentions. I'm not going to hold my breath that the Republican Party is going to force him out. So, yeah, I think it's probably going to go that direction. If they can't force him out, they'll just try to sideline him and pretend like he's not there and hope somebody runs against him. Remember, these are quick cycles, so in another year you're going to have another election cycle for the House already. I think they'll try to ignore it, but part of that would be trying to get this guy to shut up and stop doing media. He doesn't do that, it's going to get ugly enough that they're going to have to take some kind of action and force him out.
Commentator for Young Voices, Andrew Donaldson, joining us. Andrew, thank you for your time.
Anytime, sir. Thank you.
All right.